Welcome and salut, Canadian LEGO fans. It's Frank once again for True North Bricks, and I am here with a Minifigure Monday update for you guys. It is Star Wars week, and we are celebrating with all things Star Wars. And for this Monday, I am going to give you guys a look at my collection of Star Wars Trooper minifigures. So this is the collection that I have gathered over the last few years. I want to say since about 2016. And it started by accident with getting one small set just to qualify for GWP at the local LEGO store. And from there, it just snowballed. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. You start with one thing, suddenly you want to catch them all. Let's call it the Pokemon effect. And here we are now. So, what is this guy? This is only the Storm, First Order, clone troopers, etc. that have appeared in the 9 Skywalker Saga films. So I have stuck to only the film appearances just to keep everything a lot more manageable. As you imagine, after 20 plus years of LEGO Star Wars, there are a lot of characters, and that is a lot of collecting. And frankly, I got bills to pay, and I don't have that much time to do all that. So by narrowing it down to just these few figures, I think it's kept it in check. Now, even within that, this has still been a process to grab all these things. A lot of Bricklink ordering, some eBay ordering. But I've acquired what I think is pretty much every available figure that has appeared on screen. So what do we got here? So we have 48 minifigures inside this shadow box. And like any collector will tell you, a shadow box is a great option to display minifigures as you get a good amount of depth. And more importantly, it keeps everything dust-free. I hate dusting LEGO. I hate dusting minifigures. If I can encase everything under glass, then I am doing it. So, this is a product that I picked up at IKEA. Now, it is sadly discontinued, so anyone hoping to pick one up, you're going to have to do so by pretty much Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, etc. I know people do sell them. But it is a great product. Hopefully it returns or something similar to it. It has this great hinged glass lid. So this is very easy to put in, take out, remove, swap out, and create a great display of any kind. So what have I done on the inside? So this guy has a little bit of depth, I'd say about 1.5 inches, but it is the perfect depth for your average minifigures. And what I did was I glued some 4x10, 12, what have you plates onto some balsa wood, which I glued together, and created these little stacked shelves. So I evenly divided everything into 4, and I have my collection here. So comfortably with 2 studs apart, you can fit 12 minifigures on each row. If you really wanted to get tight in there, you could easily do 13. But I think this is a nice way to display everything. Everyone's got a little bit of space. It's nice and symmetrical. It's even. I think it looks pretty good. So I have about 3 of these cases to hold different collections of minifigures. But for today, we are going to be looking at the Trooper minifigure collection. So just to give you guys a brief overview, I've got everything done in the chronological film order. So as they appeared in each of the 9, 10, 11 films for Skywalker Saga, plus Rogue One and Solo. And I've got them arranged as they, I guess, appeared on film, or at least per film. So if we start up at the top here, this is episode 2, where we first get our first clone trooper. So your phase 1 clone trooper captain, clone trooper commander, and a clone trooper pilot. So there hasn't been too many phase 2 troopers in terms of what's been shown in film. Attack of the Clones really just showed us the few variations, and after that, you got way more within the Clone Wars cartoon show, but again, sticking to films, I am not delving into that because there is just way too much more to go into. As we move along, we go to Revenge of the Sith, where we got the awesome Phase 2 Clone Trooper design, which is my personal favorite, as well as a lot of fun color variation, markings, battalions, legions, what have you. And there was just a lot of cool stuff in that film. So I was really happy when they made a lot of these minifigures. Clearly we are still missing and or happily waiting on some other ones. Commander Cody, of course, being the one the community has been salivating for many years at this point. So fingers crossed that's on the way. But there are a host more to come, hopefully. But, you know, again, fingers crossed. So if we start over here, we have a very sadly yellowed Phase 2 Trooper. I don't know what happened to this guy. I bought him a few years ago. I don't recall him being even the slightest bit yellow. This case has not been in the sun. He just magically turned beige one day, and I am hard-pressed to try and replace him because this is an expensive minifigure. It only appeared in one small microfighter set. So with all the Episode 3 Clone Wars TV show appearances of the Phase 2 Troopers, we have only ever gotten one standard plain white clone trooper without markings, and it was in that small set, and he is tough to come by. It is pretty expensive. I think on Bricklink, the average Canadian price is at least $25, so good luck if you guys are on the hunt for one of those. Anyway, at one point I will have to replace them, so Lego, please reissue some. I need to change out my poor yellowed minifigure. Moving on, we have the 212th Utapau Troopers, and that's the Airborne Commander and the Standard Trooper. It is a Bark Trooper, which was on, if I'm not mistaken, Saleucami, and they haven't done many more of that, but that is a really cool figure, lots of cool markings. Shock Trooper. Now the Shock Trooper is again only in one set, which is the Coruscant Police Gunship. So the helmet is not exactly the same design as the more updated ones. You can see the graphics on there are a little bit different. But again, happy to have this guy in the collection. Had to pick him up from an eBay account in Australia a few years ago when I first started this collection. And man, that was a 2-month wait for this, and I just kept assuming that it was lost somewhere in the Pacific, but happily it showed up. And again, she's pretty expensive. And picking that one up is at least, I think, a good $20 to $30. Moving on, we have the Kashyyyk Troopers, including Commander Gree, and the standard 200 or 81st Legion, 80 something. It'll be in the article. Read on for all the better details. And the updated recent 501st Legion Trooper. So that was cool that they updated that guy. I did have the original, which I will show you at the end of this video, just to show you a comparison of the ones that I have swapped out over the years. To update the figures to the most accurate and most current. And moving down to the next level, we got the Solo, a Star Wars Story Trooper. So that's a Mimban Trooper. That is a patrol ship trooper. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And then the Range Trooper. And then that's pretty much what the original one, the unique designs we got out of Solo. But that Mimban Trooper is at least $50 Canadian on Bricklink, so no idea why that one is so hard to come by and so expensive. But it was only in one set. It wasn't a very expensive set, and the Solo sets were around for a fair bit, but it turns out the collector market on that one is strong. So good luck if you're chasing that guy down. As we move on, we get into the Rogue One figures. Now, Rogue One is probably my favorite, or at least one of my favorite Star Wars films. It has a great story, and it had some really great new designs. So here is an updated Stormtrooper from that series. And then the Death Troopers, which were a really cool design. And LEGO did a really great job with creating those guys and that really awesome helmet print. Shore Troopers from the Battle of Scarif, and a Hover Tank Pilot Trooper. And a TIE Fighter Pilot as well, or the TIE Striker Pilot, pardon me. And as we move on, we now come into the original trilogy. So here is your standard updated Stormtrooper, a Sand Trooper, which also comes with a slightly higher price point. That guy is a little trickier to come by. We have another TIE Fighter Pilot, an updated Snow Trooper, an updated AT-AT Driver, the Emperor's Royal Guard, and a really cool updated print on the Scout Trooper. The original I'll show you again in just a few moments. That guy was pretty basic looking, and this new design has tons of detail, and the helmet mold is super, super well done. And to finish off the original trilogy, a Death Star Gunner. And moving into the sequel trilogy, which, full disclosure, after a few years of watching that and ruminating on it, I am not a fan any longer, so this part of the collection has fizzled down for me. I was quite excited when the first movie came out, and I was pretty excited to keep collecting these figures and just adding to the overall collection, but after The Rise of Skywalker came out, man, no thank you. Definitely my least favorite of any of the films. In fact, one of my most disliked films of all time. I know I'm in that or that other half of the fan base that just really wasn't too keen on that. But here we are, guys. Let's not a fight. Let's all accept that we all have opinions, and we're moving on. Anyway, so you have your First Order Trooper, Captain Phasma, a TIE Fighter pilot, an Artillery Trooper, a Snow Trooper, and a Flame Trooper. So say what you will about the films, there was some really cool trooper designs. And of course, LEGO did a great job on these newer figures. And because they're newer figures, they all have really great printing on legs, torso, and amazing new helmet molds. So still happy to have these guys. There's some really cool stuff here. Just I wish the films were not quite so. Yeah, moving on. So here we are with a Squad Commander, an updated pilot with the red stripes on the helmet, the Executioner Troopers from the second of the sequel trilogies, the Praetorian Guards, which were Snoke's Royal Guards, some really neat updated designs there, a Walker Driver, a updated Standard Trooper, a Snow Trooper Commander, the Sith Trooper, which, don't even get me started, a Tread Speeder Driver, a Sith Jet Trooper, and a Standard Jet Trooper. So there you go, guys. That is the pretty much full collection to my knowledge. I have always routinely checked on Bricklink, Brickset, etc. to see if there's anything new coming out, and as new things come out, I do update them. So, which on that note, here's a sampling of what's been changed out over the last couple of years. So those first two figures were the original Clone Wars TV show design. So when I first started, I hadn't realized that the Clone Wars TV show minifigures were definitely a slightly different design. You can see those helmets are a little bit different, a little more cartoonish, a little less detail. So those were swapped out for the proper troopers, which are happily in there. These two guys, the green and the blue, those are a sergeant and a lieutenant, if I'm not wrong. As they did not appear in any of the films, they were just created for either the show or just in general. They did come out of the collection, but they were in there for a little bit just as this thing was growing. Here we have the original 501st, which again was only in, I think, 1 or 2 sets. And with the updated new design from the more recent $40 battle pack, that guy got swapped out. But the new design is definitely a lot more detailed, but definitely keeping this guy around as he is quite a collectible. This is a Kashyyyk Trooper, and the standard Phase 2 armor did not show up in the film with this camo print on it. That looked more like the Scout Trooper design or Commander Gree, so he is not in the collection. This is a fighter pilot, but I generally try to keep the collection to the proper helmeted guys without any visor or the more kind of face visible. Just something I did. But again, if the collection warrants it, I can always slap that guy back in and he will fit right back into the collection. And here are some older original trilogy designs. Now those guys have definitely been the most changed out as the figures have improved over the years in terms of designs and detailing. So you can see a collection of the original Storm, AT-AT, Snow Trooper, and Scout Trooper figures, especially that old Scout Trooper, which is a very simple design, very simple helmet mold, and he's even got the holes in the visor there, which just have a black minifigure head underneath. So definitely seen some improvements there. And that's the collection, guys. So that's the swapped out stuff. And once again, here's an overview of everything that's in there. So I hope you enjoyed that. I have more details in the article in terms of current values, what sets these guys were from, and just some general synopses of the collection as it stands. So I hope you guys enjoy reading that, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a longer one, but, you know, Star Wars Troopers, it's always something I'm passionate about talking about, and I hope it was fun for you as well. So please comment and let me know what you think. If you have your own collection, if you have any suggestions, if you think I'm missing something, if you think something's in the wrong spot. Comment below, and of course, always let us know, and let us know how we're doing on the channel. Comment, like, subscribe to our YouTube page, and just keep on checking the website for updates. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep on bricking. Take care.